And hello there, this is Isix with a very different video compared to Noble, even for my essay stuff, holy smokes. What am I talking about today? I'm talking about Facebook. Facebook. So, a number of us who have been on the internet for a while have an account on the giant website called Facebook. It's huge and large and full of madness these days. It's been full of madness for quite some time, but it's getting more obvious as time goes forward. And so I figured I'd show you guys a little bit of what I experienced from my time on Facebook. And I'm not going to be using Facebook directly in this video. I'm going to be showing you a series of images that I've collected from Facebook to sort of demonstrate some of the stuff I've been encountering, specifically from a single person who is a family member of mine who is a bit older in years and has certain inclinations as far as interests, politics, social stuff. Someone who's not like me very much at all, honestly, but that, to a certain degree, the good and the bad there shouldn't necessarily run into problems if everything's hunky-dory. The stuff that I would disagree with, sure, fine, I would disagree with it, but that's not the issue. The issue is the problem of clickbait and manipulation, which if you've been watching some of my video essays recently, is sort of one of the themes that I kind of got a bit of an issue with here. So I'm going to be doing this one sort of riffing as I go through. I got a few notes for a few things, but otherwise we're going to be going right into it. So first off, we got this image. That is a text image. Yes, we got text. Now, I will say before we get any further that I didn't include everything that is from my family members page. I've only included a few selections from the last, I guess, couple days. I'm recording this on the 23rd. Everything was has been on their page from the 21st forward, and so this has been. All of this has been coming in at a very, very quick rate, and this is actually fairly normal. So they share a lot of this stuff on their timeline, and it fills up my feed like nothing else. It's rather annoying, honestly. But given some stuff we'll run into later, I'll explain perhaps why I don't just mute her or something like that. Anyway, so first off, it says, tonight a teacher somewhere in your neighborhood is getting ready for your child's new school year, writing lessons, plans, or writing your child's name in their grade book. While you are watching television and the minute it takes you to read this, teachers all over the world are using their free time and often investing their own time and money for your child's literacy, prosperity, and future. Repost this if you are a teacher, love a teacher, or appreciate a teacher. Now, I won't necessarily ding anyone for expressing appreciation for someone who deserves it. But there seems to be this idea that the teachers of the world en masse will notice your share and give a damn. Put it bluntly. The thing is, I think when you share stuff like this on your timeline, it's not actually helping the teachers. It's not doing anything to really encourage their situation to be better. It's not providing them the resources they need in order to teach in their classes more effectively. It's not reducing their class sizes. It's not doing anything materially at all. It's basically saying, I'm giving you a thumbs up, and that's all I'm doing. It's the same thing as buying a plastic magnetic ribbon and putting in your car and saying you support your troops while doing absolutely nothing to do that materially. It's all about a make yourself feel better about the situation, because I care, but I'm not going to do anything about it. But I care. That should be enough, right? Well, not really, guys. So in addition, it's also a demonstration of sort of the clickbait slash share. If it's important that you share this because reasons. as I said already, this isn't actually doing anything to help teachers. It's just expanding the reach of a particular person or the creator of this particular image, expanding their message to a wider audience to lure you in so you share more of the stuff they produce. And over time, they can make use of this for their own benefit, not for any benefit to the teachers. Anyway, moving on. So as I go through, if there's that first one was shared from a personal web page or account, which might be real, might not be. Facebook's weird like that. There's a lot of fake accounts, etc., etc. But for the ones where it's explicitly from a group, I'll be mentioning which group. This next one is called from Living Country Style specifically. It's a image of a house in the fall. Cool. Nothing really to complain about this one. Just sort of a expression of some of the stuff that you see. It's like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool. But I do have to wonder sort of the decision of why are you sharing this as opposed to just liking it. Facebook's all about the likes, Anyway, up next, for another one from a person. Those who died yesterday had plans for this morning, and those who died this morning had plans for tonight. Don't take life for granted. In the blink of an eye, everything can change. So forgive often and love with all your heart. You may never get to have that chance again. Yeah, this is actually a pretty good message. I'll generally endorse it and say that, sometimes it's important to cherish the moments we have, and that's all cool. Still kind of has the problem with that first image of the text that it's not really doing a whole lot. But if you want to share this message, and this is actually a message that's being directed to you, not a idea of I'm somehow helping someone else, this is something that's I'm generally cool with people sharing. So yeah, cool. All right, next up is something from a site or a group called Pistol Snipe. You can probably see the business is going already. Important notice: we ask that all gun owners put this on their wall. The Supreme Court of the United States has affirmed that the right to keep and bear arms is a fundamental right of the individual. If you believe in the Second Amendment and you are not afraid to show it, repost this. I hope to see this reposted by a lot of my friends. Remember, if we outlaw guns, then outlaws will have guns. Then only outlaws will have guns. So this is pretty much a canned bit of propaganda of gun supporters, folks, that we've all seen countless times by this point. Not only is it sort of glossing over the subtleties of law and gun rights and all that, and as usual ignores that whole bit of the Second Amendment where there's supposed to be a well-regulated militia involved. Yeah, it's basically another one of those. Oh, you should be you need to be caring about gun rights, and this group, not a friend, is telling you to share this and repost it and get the message out there so you can encourage people. Yeah, it's pretty much straight up propaganda. It's and it's the kind that's being used on Facebook fairly often to be spread via the social networks in the very social network sort of fashion. That's why the repost this, the shares, the demonstrate that you are 100% behind this message and don't care about the subtleties or the all those murdered children out there. Yeah. Moving on. The next one's a little spooky, so just a warning. So this one is something I believe that was from a person's a personal site. It's a spider. It's actually one of several images, but I figured I'd get you the most clear of the four. And it came with a big warning about this spider that's going across the nation, and people are worried, and people are dying, etc., etc. And it's all a straight up hoax. Yeah. Did a little bit of looking on the Snopes there, and it's basically, these spiders have been around. Yeah, and it's not anything new. Why are you panicking? But it does get to the issue that there are a number of hoaxes that go around on Facebook, and the general problem is the people that share them, for one reason or another, are simply, despite pretty much everyone going, really, over and over and over and over again, continue to share them. And we're gonna run into more hoaxes in a little bit here, so. Yeah, so I'll go away from the spooky spider at this point. Next up, Lessons Taught by Life presents The Strength of a Mother is Like No Other. During times of stress, she may struggle to find her way because she's facing her own personal demons, but her child's welfare comes first. She's not perfect and makes a lot of mistakes, but never doubt her love. It burns deeply in her heart. Type yes if you agree. Yeah, another one of those share bait sort of things. And this one's on a bit of text that has been basically photoshopped onto a book page. You can tell that it's so by a few reasons. One, the different quality of the flourish and the edges and such of the book, which are very obviously degraded JPEG, while the text is nice and crisp. Also, the text doesn't really follow the contours of the page at all. So yeah, this is not something that actually shows up in the book. Yeah. So this is another one of those sort of share bait sort of things, and I think I might need to mention at this point there is a sort of, I guess, a scam system that happens on Facebook and other sort of social media sites of the similar type that are basically you build up an audience of some large number of folks by having sort of golly gee stuff like this. And then sometime once the group or whatever fan page has reached a critical mass, you sell it to somebody, a third party, or I don't know, a political campaign, or say a foreign government. And then that other entity suddenly can put up whatever they like, and suddenly drown thousands upon thousands of people with whatever they like. That doesn't have anything to do with the stuff they originally came for. And for a time, they'll, especially if you're older folks, you don't quite understand how the technology works. You're suddenly going to be facing down this huge pile of nonsense. And because there's so much of it, it's coming from a group that you thought you could trust. You have this reaction that, oh, maybe this is true. If people in even this group are talking about it, maybe this is something I should be worried about. Yeah. It's kind of a Trojan horse for your mind. Yeah. So yeah, generally when I get really kind of unhappy when I see stuff that just sort of, type yes if you agree. Because it's the yeses are meant to gauge how active the people in the group are to what is being observed. Because if like in YouTube, if you comment down below, that tells the algorithm, hey, this is what's going on. If you type yes if thousands of people say yes to something like this, that tells the group owners that, hey, this is a viable group to perhaps sell or start feeding stuff into, because we know people are actually looking at this. It's not just people who have liked the page and never actually look at it. Yeah. So anyway, on to another hoax. This one says at 12:30 August 27th, you will see 2 moons in the sky. But only, okay, I'm going to stop you here. You're not going to see 2 moons in the sky. This is, once again, that thing where Mars is going to be relatively close to the Earth and a bit brighter than normal. But it's not going to be the size of the moon. It's not going to be anywhere near the size of the moon. If it was the size of the moon, that means we're probably all going to die. Just honestly. Because that means Mars is very much heading our way in the, it's fallen out of orbit, is careening towards Earth, and is going to collide with us. Liquefying the entire Earth's surface, killing all life, and basically ending human civilization forever. And that'd be a bad thing. I'd like to just state once for all. I might get annoyed by people a lot, but I don't want us all to be dead. So yeah. This is a hoax. It comes around every few years, and it's basically the exact same thing. It's someone hears that, Mars is going to be brighter in the sky because aphelions and perihelions and all that fun stuff. Things are timing right in the celestial chorus of the movement of the worlds, and so that means I need to freak out and remember that last time that people claimed that it was huge as the moon, and so I'm going to make a new image and Photoshop it or something, or maybe you just hate people and want to share, and make crap like this and put it on the internet, see how far it gets. I don't know, honestly, but it's complete nonsense. Don't believe crap like this, folks. Always be skeptical about claims like this. Because if you don't check before sharing, which this family member of mine obviously did not, then you will fall for this potentially, assuming you're kind of uncertain about it, and then you'll share it, and then someone else will fall for it, and then someone else will fall, see it from them, and then they'll fall for it too, and it keeps going, and it goes around and around and around, and perpetually we're going to be still facing this kind of spam. So yeah, stop spam in its tracks by not believing this crap, please. You'll save us all a lot of heartache in the long run. Moving on. How to lose friends on Facebook. Post what the Bible says about anything. Wait. 3, you'll be accused of judging. 4, you'll be judged by those judging. 5, you'll be called mean things. The unfriending will begin. And then Rojo. This is from a group on the Facebooks called Yeshua, which is, I believe, the a version of the name Joshua, except like Old Hebrew or something like that. I don't speak Hebrew, so I'm just kind of judging from what I was able to glean quickly from Wikipedia. But the site is connected to something called the Yeshua Network, which is a YouTube / internet media group that's all about the Jesus and such. And that's fine. You have a religious group online. The thing I take umbrage with this is it feeds into the general Christian persecution complex. Now, Christianity is the majority religion in the United States. And I exist in the United States as well as this person who has been sharing this on their Facebook. And so it's a little strange when you think about the numbers and the fact that vast majorities of the folks in Congress and who run the government, etc., are also Christian. It's a little weird that everyone seems to be on the especially on the Christian conservative end of things, seems to be under the impression that they are a put upon minority when they kind of run everything right now. A little weird, isn't it? So sometimes you get variants of that sort of thing where it's not about the government who's now oppressing you, because that doesn't make any damn sense. They keep getting called out for it. But it's everyone else in your life who is suddenly the evil person. So there's a lot of stuff that gets shared on Facebook that's kind of ridiculous, and including stuff that says to be from the Bible that isn't, stories that, it's like, this is this and that, and praise Jesus, but it's based on a story that's not true or complete hoax, etc. People are like, really? And, all this stuff is sort of designed to, encourage that anxiety, that paranoia, that fear that Christians are on the outs, that they are being, hounded by their friends and family and isolated, and only the most, pure Christians will do things. And so this is a call for a test to see if you are going to, to do something to basically try to suss out those you can't trust, those who are the enemies. They will unfriend themselves eventually because they'll be judging you and accuse you of judging, etc. And come on, give me a break. Seriously. Man. It's basically designed. This is a call to action to engage in a behavior that is designed to, well, let me take a step back. It's a call for action that doesn't actually intend you to do anything about it. Instead, you're supposed to share this in order to spread the notion that Christians are put upon, because, independent of what you do as far as sharing Bible quotes, and this person does that from time to time, and nobody calls them on any of that, because there's no reason to. But this sort of thing popping up is a means for which to encourage the idea that this is happening when it's not actually happening. Yeah. So by the way, all the stuff so far has been in the last 24 hours. All of this, this is number 8. And there's various items I've left off this list that I've not shown you, that either just kind of like, just kind of repeat of what something else that already shows up elsewhere, or is like personal posts, like someone talk about their family or whatever, which I'm cool with. Is kind of the general thing Facebook was originally sort of intended to do to a certain degree. Anyway, so next up is might be old, but at least our music didn't make you want to jump out of a moving car. Okay, what the hell is this supposed to be? Are you saying that the music of today is so bad that you'd rather jump out of a car? Are you saying that it's encouraging to jump out of a car? Is it what are you trying to mean? Are you just saying you don't like modern day music? That's fine, but people are allowed to like things, right? You seem to like a lot of things that I think is kind of ridiculous or manipulative or straight up propaganda or hoaxes. And for the most part, I let a lot of it slide because the worst stuff I'll call out because wow, this is straight up racist or something like that. And that's important to do. But there's so much coming through your feed that is complete BS, complete bullshit, that it's infuriating degree. And then you come back and say, oh, this other thing over there is horrible, and that makes me better. Well, talk about glass houses, eh? So, moving on from something that's just kind of just plain up offensive for, how it is, to something that's just kind of weird. Hello, Double Jesus, with the Photoshop in the country road. It's from a page called God First. I'm not sure what to say about this. Okay, cool, you're drawing pictures of Jesus. Could you come up with better ones? This was just kind of funny to me, honestly. It's okay, we got someone, depicting Jesus, painted, who's apparently, I don't know, 15 feet tall walking down the road. And then you got I guess, God the Father in the sky floating above him, with, head sort of in the right place for the, a little halo effect from the leaves and things like that. Cool. I don't know what the point is, though. Yeah. Next up, we got a warning. These two men are going around local neighborhoods knocking on doors claimed to be from a plumbing and heating and air company, asking for entry into your home to check your taps for possible leaks. Do not let them in. They are not plumbers. Please share this with your friends as they are dangerous. Also, they star in a movie called Home Alone in 1990. Yeah, I'm not kidding. This is the wet bandits from the movie Home Alone. That is their MO. This picture down here in the lower right, that is the actors. I'm not kidding you. This family member of mine shared this without going haha, this is so funny. No, this is shared. They shared it because they believe it. Yeah. A movie that they were alive for. They were already kind of old for. They're obviously a lot older than me, as you probably guessed by this point. I remember the movie Home Alone when it came out, and they're older than me, and I suspect probably saw it at some point. And yet, they believe this. This is kind of disturbing. Once again, about the hoaxes. This is one of the ones I had to call out. It's oh yeah, these guys were from that movie. I also call out the one about the moon because yeah, but yeah, it's frustrating, and we're well past the point where folks should know better. And so it kind of calls the question, what are we going to do about this? The obvious answer is basically destroy Facebook forever, but that's not probably going to happen very easily. Let's move on to something that's more, yeah. So, PETA, protesting animal crackers behind bars, gets a redesign. Sheriff, you thought the old package was fine. First off, I didn't do any research into this one. But I have my doubts that PETA has anything to do with this repackaging. Because given the rest of the track record of the stuff that's been shared so far, I don't really care what the PETA did. PETA is an awful organization that goes out and like kidnaps pets and then euthanizes them. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's more ethical for the animal to be dead than be kept as a pet. Yeah, they're crazy people that I don't much care for. They're doing more harm than good, and I don't necessarily feel obligated to go out and defend them. But still, I don't believe this has anything to do with PETA. Marketing happens, and, companies redesign their packaging from time to time. And given that P.T. Barnum isn't necessarily as much of a household name as it used to be, the whole animals and cages thing maybe doesn't sell as well, Anywho, moving on. The animal crackers is from Update America. Just, I guess, keeping you updated on what you should be angry about, I guess. Anyway, next up, Really American gives us a thing called about Newmans Own. The Newmans Own Foundation, started by Paul Newman, has donated more than $530 million to thousands of nonprofit organizations helping countless people in need around the world, all from the profits and royalties of their products. Spread the word about this American hero. Cool. First off, they don't need help. It goes back to the thing with the teachers. This isn't going to help Newman's Own other than maybe sell more of their products, which this might be a really good marketing campaign on their part. Oh, we'll have someone on a Facebook group with a patriotic sounding name go out and share this thing to let everyone know about the charitable giving we're doing. But also the number for the actual charity is about $500 million. The $30 million on top of that is for a special award that they give out, or started giving out recently, which I guess might be considered charity if you think giving awards to people is charity. But anyway, so yeah, this is either sort of a feel-good story by someone who's just like, oh, this is something cool I want to make a thing about, or it's basically an advertisement in disguise. Yeah. Moving on. This is something. The next one's from another individual account, individual share. Let's see who isn't afraid to share this post. I support law enforcement, the Thin Blue Line supporters group. So those who are unaware what the Thin Blue Line represents, it's basically the idea that the police officers are kind of banded together to a certain degree to watch each other's back, which to a certain degree. That's fine as far as it's like, oh, we're out there going up against dangerous people, we need to be watching each other's back. But there is a problem when that watching each other's back comes down to, oh, my fellow officers are breaking the law, so I'm going to put their protection over the law because I want them to have my back for either general situations or when I break the law. Yeah. So the whole Thin Blue Line thing has been coming back pretty strong with the folks that are upset for various reasons about Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter, if you're unaware, which I suspect some people are, despite everything, including this particular family member of mine, is all about the objections to the habit that law enforcement has. They object to the behaviors of law enforcement to shoot first and ask questions later with African American and non-white suspects compared to white suspects. So you're more likely to get physically roughed up, shot, even in the back when you're trying to surrender or run away or whatever. When you're not posing a threat to anybody, you're more likely to be straight up killed if you are not a white person. And this is a major problem in the United States that there has been, sort of swept under the rug for a number, for a good long while until, folks were able to more recently actually take video and basically demonstrate, oh, all of the lines but the police were given in these situations were completely complete BS that this person wasn't a threat. This person was obviously just straight up murdered. And then the response to that is like, oh no, we gotta defend our police officers. And yeah, there are police officers who are doing a lot of good. But the good police officers should not be supporting those who are breaking the law, who are using excessive force, who are basically selectively targeting African Americans. And yeah, that's something I believe strongly is a problem. And stuff like this kind of incenses me to a certain degree. Because it's like, I want, because this is basically a demonstration that you want, you particularly, and you want me to as well, trust law enforcement absolutely with no questions asked. Which is always a dangerous prospect. Because if we cannot question our authorities, including the law enforcement authorities, to make sure that they are doing the right thing, that they are following the law, that they're doing the things as they are supposed to be, then they are allowed to get away with whatever they like, which is harmful to our society and the people within it. So yeah, a little bit of rant there. Hope it all made sense. Anyway, on to something a little bit more lighthearted. They're not gray hairs, they are wisdom highlights. Aging gracefully. Cool. This one's from a page called Housekeeping 101. I'm not quite sure why they exist, honestly, but cool. It's probably another one of those random groups that, I don't know, just sort of a social thing, perhaps. I don't know. But yeah, this is pretty harmless. So I decided to throw it in there because I knew that this is going to be something that be a good palate cleanser, perhaps, because it's relatively harmless. And so everything so far has been in the last 24 hours. Now I got a few more that from the previous days before that. And the next one is this one. It's I guess a Twitter or a Facebook here, maybe. Yeah, I think it's a Twitter. It's having a junk drawer in your kitchen just a Midwest thing. Because when I just look at the junk drawer to someone who is not from the Midwest, they look at me like I'm crazy. Tell me if you want a screwdriver, scissors, zip tie, or a birthday candle, look at the little junk drawer. Now, this is actually something that I kind of grew up with. This idea that there's sort of a catch-all sort of space, and you call it the junk drawer. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Because sometimes you just don't have places to put things individually, because there's just sort of a mismatch of things that are kind of useful but don't really have a home. It's a good place for them. Just make sure you don't let it overflow too much, otherwise you can't find anything. Another bit of a palate cleanser. Calming down slowly. The rest of these are, for the most part, of that sort of thing. So, there's nothing like grandchildren to put a smile on your face, a lump in your throat, and a warm feeling in your heart. This is from Liftable. And so like, okay, cool, you like your grandkids. Yeah, that's perfectly okay. Usual, sort of about the other stuff is still in effect, but this one is relatively harmless on its own. So the nice part about living in a small town is when you don't know what you are doing, someone else does. This is from Shits and Giggles, the original. I don't know what that is, but cool. It kind of comes down to the small town mentality, which is applicable for some folks, not so much for others, and is perhaps maybe glossing over the fact that sometimes nobody knows what the hell they're doing. That in my professional fields, this happens from occasion, and we're supposed to be world experts, and you're expecting everyone in a small town actually knows what they're doing. Someone in there actually knows what they're doing. I don't think so. So this just seems kind of like really to me, but it's not offhand offensive. All right, now the next one is from American freedom fighters. Americans pay the highest prices for medicine in the world. Want to know why? There's a law that forbids Medicare from negotiating with big pharmaceutical companies. Meanwhile, in 2012 alone, the industry spent $309 million lobbying Congress. If you think it's time to change the rules, type yes and share. So this gets back to that, once again, that teacher thing where you share and That's all you gotta do, man. You don't gotta think about your politicians or getting bought off. Just be angry about the lobbying of Congress. Don't actually hold Congress accountable to this sort of stuff and check what their votes on this kind of stuff is. Oh man. Because why would you want to do that? All you got to do is type yes and share. So this this is what I wanted to have this one in here because it's a case of this is something that I also believe is a problem. This is Americans pay through the nose for medicines, and pharmaceutical companies to various degrees can say, oh, I'm just going to sort of set the price like this, and because it's something that people need to survive, I'm going to get away with charging for the nose because people will pay for it. And if people don't pay for it, the insurance company pays for it. And I can find a mathematical equilibrium where I make the most money from this. And that's all cool, man. And, the government is thinking about maybe not letting me do this. Not, charging, hundreds of bucks per pill. Well, I guess I just got to lobby Congress, and, in my billions upon billions of dollars in my company, I can spend a few, tens of millions, along with the other companies who are doing the same thing, to prevent any changes to that. And yeah, that's and being outraged about this is reasonable. But the thing to do is not to say yes and share. The thing to do is to do research about what your Congress critters are doing, and then hold them accountable. To, be an active voter, to be an active citizen in our democracy. Sharing on Facebook isn't going to do that. You got to participate in the real world if you want to actually enact real changes. So close, but not quite. Finally, our last one is from these two fawns were rescued from drowning in floodwaters by 16-year-old Tyre Damir. How many people share this? Once again, another share bait sort of thing. I have no idea if this story is true or not, but I'm going to draw attention to the name of the group that posted this. It's called Click Like If You Are Agree. This family photo is beautiful. I don't know, but I got a feeling English isn't the first language of these folks. Makes you think, doesn't it? Yeah. Click like if you are agree. Yeah. Oh, man. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it here. All of these were in the last few days, and these are a sampling of the stuff that's been coming through that particular family member's feed. And they do this all year. They do this almost every day of the year to some degree or another, unless you're out of town or busy or have something going on. And it's a perpetual merry-go-round of nonsense memes, like and share and type yes, feel like you're doing something and not actually doing something, straight up propaganda, stuff that is kind of nonsense, silliness, stuff that might not be true, but I don't really give a crap enough to do the research for. Obvious hoaxes, bad photoshops, and all sorts of other sort of madness. And this, my friends, is the problem with Facebook. All of this sort of thing is, it's not healthy. It's filling folks up with so much nonsense, and none of it's actually, straight up. It's all about manipulation. It's all about getting you to share and like and hit the yeses and get other people's timelines so that they react to it, so that they also share and like. And heck, they even got me to make a video featuring all their crap. So there, you win, guys. And whatever. But it's important that we, as a society, learn to get beyond this and to maybe take a more active stance against it. Because the longer this kind of thing goes on, the more tied up in knots folks are going to get. And that is going to be dangerous for us as a society in the long run, because it means that people that are basically unaccountable are going to be able to influence our friends and family in ways that we don't quite get, because we're not quite clicking with the psychological tricks being played. So yeah, I think I'm done. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed, of course, hit the like button. Share with all your friends. Hit that yes. Do all that cool stuff. Subscribe for more. I know it's kind of crazy for me to be saying this after a video about this very thing being like this, but you know, if my family member can do all this crap for stuff that's terrible, maybe we should be doing this on our own for the stuff that's not terrible. I'm serious, guys. I'm actually very serious. If you want to counter this, one of the tools we have right now is to basically fight fire with fire. Share this share the stuff that counters all this crap and fill up their timelines with it. Hint, hint. Anyway, till next time, everybody. Toodles. Woohoo!